Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the final download. If you are watching the replay, welcome. Put a hashtag replay and you are welcome to skip maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes ahead before we gather here. Risa is in the house. Oh my goodness. Hello, Risa. And there's another person joining, but I don't see you. I don't see who you are. Low Love is in the house. My favorite human beings of this retreat. And we have another person joining us, whoever you are, and another. And I don't see any comments yet. And I don't see any likes or hearts yet. Okay, here we go. Low Love. Miss Michelle Wilson is watching and in the house. Hello, hello, Miss Risa. Who else is joining me? Going to find my notes. Again, if you guys are watching a replay, just give me a couple minutes, scroll ahead. Serena Morello is in the house. Going to get, okay. So I was supposed to be driving in an hour to the airport to get my little brother. And as it happens, post-COVID, he got stuck in DC for a day. Kimberly Glow is in the house. Wow, I have my visionary circle here. I'm so excited. Michelle McLaughlin is in the house, another visionary circle. Ooh. Okay, so this is the final download of the UnGoals. And if for whatever reason you're here and you haven't caught the download, go catch it. Go catch it. Go catch the UnGoals, they're so good. Everybody got something else out of each session. I thought third session was everybody's favorite, but apparently not. There were other sessions, there were other people's favorites, and the futures, everything, all of it. So this is our completion. I thought we were done. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna send 2 emails, countdown for Miracles, because Miracles is launching. I'm changing the dates on it. It's in its own October. Hold on, I have like a little thing on my screen, and it's literally like, you know, like when you have a dirt on a screen, and it's like, looks like you have something sitting on your nose. So that's what's happening. So this session, I'm just going to dive right in because it's 8:38 and let's do it. So this session is about the most important element that actually made me who I am. And when I forget this very piece, I don't move and nothing happens. And as always, I'm going to be checking my screen, my computer next to me, because my dad is calling me. My whole family is like, what's happening? Where's your brother? You guys need to wait. So I'm going to be looking at my screen because this came through and I was like typing like a mad woman, and now I will be decoding it, trying to translate this to you. So I will cut to the chase and call out the problem that is here for some people, and it's a little bit vulnerable for me. So there is this like, I want to move forward. I want to do this. I want to do miracles. I want to do other things, but how do we continue trusting ourselves? How do we continue investing in ourselves? How do we continue launching? How do we continue making offers? How do we continue putting one foot in front of the other when we have failed so many times, when we have lost trust in ourselves? And it's like we have so many made-up stories about it. And I was going down that because I'm going through the same exact experience that you guys are going through. And I remember. I went back in another memory lane. Because we really have to remember the truth of what's going on. Not the stories that we tell ourselves about our failures and everything else, and what does this mean, and I failed, and I put this money, and I did this, that, and it didn't work out. So my first investment in my business was $500. It was a course, I think it was 2018. Like, not the first investment in business before I put like 300,000, no, more than that, like 500,000 into the restaurant, 600,000, something like that, right? Craziness. But in the coaching business, it was, my first investment was $500. And it was a big deal for me because it was a new business. It was such a big deal. And it was a course on how to make a vision board workshop. Because I just, you know, it was like when you go back to the stories that I told you, like I just had no speaking anything. So it was a course on how to do vision board workshop. 2018. I follow it. It tells you what to do. It gives you the playlist to play. It gives you scripts for every meditation. It gives you the worksheets, how to do this. You can do it. Just read it and you're going to be fine. You can lead a workshop. I was like, okay, I'll do this. I will lead a workshop. And I had 12 people show up. And I made $700 from this workshop. But I spent most of it on supplies. I bought 3 chairs. I bought a bunch of supplies, a bunch of like vision boarding things. And I lost probably more than I made. I actually didn't want to know even, I was just like, okay, whatever. But I became a person who could lead workshops. And today, and I offered a coaching program at the end of it and nobody bought. And that was so completely okay. It was so okay. So this was 2018. That was 4 years ago. I had no clue how to facilitate anything. I didn't even know how to facilitate the content that I created. I did not have an original bone in my body. I swear. It was like, I'll just teach what's the script here, So the day before yesterday, I'm sitting with a decision. An investment decision into a coaching program that I want to partake in. And there's 2 courses that I want to be in. One is on the magic of money, which, we have to master. And the other one is feminine energetics and feminine manifestation, because I know I've mastered the masculine and I'm like dabbling in the feminine, but it's like, when push comes to shove and I'm just like, let me just do something about this. I'm just, default to my masculine. I'm like, no, because if I actually want to create something that is so magical and that allows me to do everything, I have to be fluent in the feminine energetics and feminine manifestation, not just dabble and then default on the doing this, because that will put me back on the burnout. So you understand that. But I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? It's a big investment. And it doesn't make sense right now for me. It doesn't make sense because I bought a house. I took credit cards. Hello, Gina. So good to see you. I took credit cards just to do even the reconstruction. It makes no sense for me. And then I'm going through, okay, well, I'll just see. I'll just do the Miracles launch and I will see if people sign up. And if it's meant to be, and depending how many people buy and do I just need a sign that I'm on the right path. I just need a sign that I'm on the right path. What if it's not my time yet? What if I'm meant to heal some more? And what if I'm meant to be in some more hibernation? Like, how do I know? Is this going to be like any more money thrown away? And the interesting thing that I've already invested with this person 6 months ago and I didn't actually do anything with it. Right? So I'm like, I bought some class that I would watch 10 minutes of it, but then I will go channel my own thing and do actually nothing with it, right? And so I'm like, what do I do with this? So what if I'm supposed to sit and marinate with some more ABC, XYZ? And I'm doing this remodel and I just ordered literally 5 credit cards that are literally getting here today. They're at DHL office. I just have to go pick them up, right? And then Jay does this, like she will charge these credit cards through our Stripes so that I get it on my accounts, but I can actually use the credit cards to use cash. Anyway, craziness. So I sat there doing all the things that I tell my clients not to do, which is hilarious. I tell my clients this, to not to do this over and over and over and over. So many times I tell them like, okay, if your heart is in it, just do it, figure it out. And I'm being here, playing my games with myself. But whenever you go back and you look at this decision wherein your heart was a yes, that's what we have to look at. If my heart is a yes, then I should just do it. But then I go, well, what if my heart is not a yes? What if I'm just like telling myself, but this is just a temporary thing that is going to wear out and I'm going to look at this and I'm going to regret this and what do I do then, right? But here I am being comfortable. Being comfortable. And that is the biggest enemy in business. When we finally are comfortable. And I'll tell you a story about that because this is all trauma in a few minutes, but we have to loop and bring in different pieces here. So I said I'm having the most beautiful impact business without the burnout, with feminine energetics, with money mastery, with healing everything that has to do with sales, healing everything that has to do with visibility, with healing everything that gets in a way of me making an impact. And then I'm here. And what I realize is with the story of this $500 that I invested 4 years ago, time is not linear. It's going to be like that in 4 years. In 4 years, you're going to take a look back at today, and the little decisions, the little seeds that you planted, the little decisions that you're making today, it's going to be like this in 4 years, and you're going to be wake up and you're going to look back in hindsight and you're going to be so grateful for every single failure, every single brave decision that you made that might have failed anyway, but you're going to look at back and you'll be like, this is exactly why this needed to happen. This is exactly why I needed to make this decision, whether it worked out or not. There was a Wachuma ceremony. Wachuma is the name for San Pedro, which is a plant medicine of the Andes. And it's a plant medicine, it's a grandfather medicine that teaches you to open your heart and heal yourself and things like that. And the shaman told us at the beginning of the ceremony, do not waste your time, because in a second, it's going to be 10 p.m. In a second, it's going to be 12 hours from today, and you're going to wake up and you're going to wonder what you did all day here. In a second. So I took it to heart and I prayed in that Wachuma ceremony. And it was December 31st, right? It was the New Year's Eve ceremony. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, what do I pray for this year? What do I actually pray for? What do I actually want? I actually didn't pray for anything that has to do with business or money or none of that. I prayed for multi-dimensional opening, because at that time I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like my intuition is so blocked. I just can't, like all these people with all these multi-dimensional psychic abilities, this and that. Like I don't talk to the trees. I don't talk to the rocks. I don't talk to the dragons. I don't talk to nobody. Nobody talks to me. I don't talk to Jesus. I don't talk, like how, like I'm not connected to Pachamama. I'm so frustrated with this, but I will spend this day praying. I'll pray for my heart opening this year, and I'll pray for my connection to the divinity this year, because that is what I want. And I prayed. That is all I asked for. And then I'm like looking back, I didn't see immediate results. There was so much darkness that happened in January, and a relationship that went all kinds of sideways, and this, and then I was sick, and then I got COVID, and this happened, and that happened. And then those are the things that exactly needed to happen. And then things started opening for me, and I started channeling my own material, and then, started integrating things, and just so much magic happened after this. And then I say, what about these mistakes that I made? What about these launches that I did that didn't get me anything? That I got maybe 2 clients but lost so much in, staffing and expensive and ads, and what happened there? And then I understood. Because I had like 8 incredible launches, like crazy launches, and 8 totally failed launches, I fail like nobody's business. And then I realized that the failure actually made bigger difference for me than the successes, because why? Now I'm failure immune. I am in a space, so many of you guys don't even launch because you're so afraid that nobody's going to buy that you just cannot even emotionally handle it. I am at a place where I'm failure immune. Like, I don't care. Like, if nobody signs up, I still know that I did my best, and it is just that the fruits haven't ripened yet, and I'm not ready for the kind of client that I know I want to attract, and I'm so failure immune. I have so much trust right now. And that is the biggest, like, that's a gift when you can be free in your business, when you can go live or not go live, when you don't have to manipulate, like, what do I need to do or say, or what should I not say because it's too much, you know, how many emails, this and that, and what do I send the DM? Should I send them a DM? Should I like ping them? Should I post a link? Like, maybe they don't know the link. Maybe they don't know. Like, maybe they don't know where to buy miracles. Like, maybe they just forgot. And I don't need to do any of those things because I can trust you to make the best decision for yourself. And that is the best gift that I got out of all these failures. And maybe there's more. Maybe there's still like the last 2%. But maybe those last 2% is actually my superpower. Maybe those last percent, that nervousness, this fear, that it's like what if? You know, maybe the last percent is actually my biggest superpower. Because this fear of failure actually used to be very traumatic for me. I would do anything for people to not ask me if my launch went bad and I failed. I would do anything for people not ask me how it went. Literally, it was so ridiculous. And this went all the back to the first days in the restaurant. First days in the restaurant, I remember there was this woman, let's call her Mary. It's our first low season because in June in Boulder, for some reason, it would just get slow. And it was their first June or July or something. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it wasn't that. But it was like the first, first was like a really slow couple days in the restaurant after, the reviews and everything. It was like really slow. And this woman comes in and she's like, "Oh, Eva, I'm just really worried. I'm just really concerned because I don't see you have many people in here." And I still remember the feeling that I had. I still remember the yucky feeling when people just, I felt so weak and so vulnerable. Like, what do I say to this? And I just smiled. It's going to be fine. And what would you like to drink today? And it was so painful for me to fail publicly. It was so incredibly painful to put myself out there and to do everything and pour my heart, because I did pour my heart entirely and completely into the restaurant. And it didn't matter. Sometimes it was busy and sometimes it was slow. Sometimes people would buy, sometimes they wouldn't. Sometimes my staff would make a lot of tips and sometimes they would make very little. And it was like that all the time. We never knew what was going to happen. And it was so painful sometimes, and it was so overwhelming to constantly deal with the ups and the downs. And I realized that in my business, I needed to go through this so that I have the flexibility, have the freedom to be successful and not be successful, whatever is needed of me, whatever is it that is on my path, whatever is that if it was busy and great all the time and there was no downtime, I know that I'm that kind of person that would just go with it and go with it and go with it and go with it, and then what? Where is the time for the healing? Where's the time to heal this failure, this fear of failure that we have? Where? We're not supposed to be succeeding all the time. Sometimes we just need to put our whole heart in and it still doesn't work out, and that is okay. If I launch a program and there's one person in it, how amazing is that? There's going to be this one person and this entire program will be channeled for them. What is better than that? And what if it actually succeeds? What if you actually succeed? We have all these what if I fail? What if this is not going to show? What is this not going to work out? But what if you actually succeed? What if? What if you put all this effort in? And what if you heal what you need to heal? And what if you turn a corner and build the most magical, miraculous business where you work with actually the clients you really love, not the clients you resist and complain about? What if you actually love working with your clients because they're so magical, because they are a frequency match with a new version of you? They're the same buyers, you become the buyer and they match your buying habits. They are so excited to join your course because you are that kind of person. What if you're the kind of student that you want to be, or you're the kind of student that you want others to be, and it's just like magic. It's magic for you in other programs. You're a student, you are a teacher. It's like this magic that everybody's transforming. There's this, Oh, hello, Vaira. So happy to see you. Catherine, Gabrielle. I'm just so happy to see you guys. You know, what if it's so good? What if you create the life of miracles for yourself? What if you free yourself? What if you create a life when you take your kids around the world, or your parents around the world, or take yourself around the world? What if you can, you know, so many people message me literally like all the time, I want to move to Costa Rica, like, but I can't, you know, it's too risky. It's like, what's, you can move to a place in Costa Rica where you can rent for $500 a month, and you can have this online business, or you can rent, you know, here, you know, Sarah, is quite expensive, you know, other places, not so much. Like, what if it all worked out? What if you create magic on wheels? What if it's actually good? Instead of all these like negative thoughts that you have, that you shut it down, what if it could actually be magic? Does that mean it's going to be easy? No. See, the problem that we have, okay, I think our electricity just went down for a minute. Let's see. Can you guys give me some hearts to let me know that I'm still here? Let's see. What if there's a group of us? Okay, I see some hearts working here. What if this is so magical? What if there's a group of us who meet in Costa Rica or Bali or Thailand? Tali. It's the new country, the magical country we'll all meet up in, and we'll create this so much magic. Like, what if you have this magical sisterhood or brotherhood or both of these magical friendships where you can be vulnerable, you can be yourself, and you're in a group of people that are growing and on fire together, where there's so much courage, there's so much abundance, there's so much vulnerability. And you know, I love healing. I love continue to go deeper. But it also, for me, when I was making this decision of investing, and I already made this decision, it is done. I'm literally just going to pick up my credit cards and it's done. And I'm just like, I'm so celebrating, because the stuff that I'm going to be integrating, could I channel this by myself? Yes, probably, but that is just like another way to say I don't trust myself, because I don't actually trust myself enough to know that this will happen for me. And so I knew in that moment that I needed to make the investment, but even though it makes no sense, my brother's coming tomorrow. He'll be here for 2 weeks. And then my best friend and Lexi's godfather and just my love is going to be here after. And I just don't have time for this, you know? And I'm going to be teaching miracles. I don't have time for this. No sense. I can probably channel the same stuff. I will probably just do some plant medicine. If I can't break through, I will get myself there, you know? But then I said, no. Do I actually believe myself? Like, really? Do I believe that I can receive? Because I understand that in order to receive what I want to receive in my business, I have to master receiving. So, another story come in that has to do with one of you guys. And I'm so sorry to call you out, but I'm calling out Paul Bard here in this group. So Paul Bard, who, you know, has known me for ages from the consciousness calibrations time and all that. He's like watching this, you know, and I'm like with the Doc Hawkins group, but they just never know, you know, because I'm all about like bigness and manifestation and this and that, you know, it just tends to be a little bit tricky. But Paul, so I'm like not like, I don't invite the people from the Hawkins because I'm so, you know, I still have some trauma around some rejection there. But like then I have some of my friends from those times here, and Paul reaches out to me, and it was like the biggest confirmation. And Paul is like, hey, I would really love to transcribe this, and I would love to turn this into a book because I think the world needs to know this. You know what my reaction is? I'm like, no. What do you want? I don't have the money to pay you. What do you want? No. No, I'm not ready for this. I don't have the time to do the book. No, 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 no. Here's the thing. I had an intention. I knew that someday I want to create something that changes, that alters the world, that liberates people from their victimhood, from their fears, that they are actually willing to step into this world of magic and expansion and healing to create extraordinary lives for themselves. And it's going to be a book that is going to be so extraordinary. And when somebody comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to transcribe it and turn it into a book, then I'm like, but no. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. So receiving. I want to fulfill my potential, but I don't want to have to receive. I want to fulfill my potential, but I don't want to be uncomfortable. So here's the thing. There's a difference between being stressed out and frantic and overwhelmed and doing stupid stuff that is not necessary. And then that's this here. That is not what we're talking about. And there's this willingness to be uncomfortable because we actually love ourselves enough to do the things, take the actions that are going to move us through the next breakthrough. So, this is now, I want you to remember what I'm about to say because, and you don't need to take notes. You don't need to take notes on anything. It's going to be there for you. But manifestation is actually the opposite of victimhood. If you're not in a manifestation space about something, you're in victimhood. So this is a teaching that they gave us at Rhythmia, one of the retreats that I used to love to go to. And it's a passage from Michael Bernard Beckwith that they used to teach there. And it's at the stages of spiritual progress that he talks about. And this actually makes more sense to me. It's along the lines of the map of consciousness, but it makes more sense to me because it makes it so much more simple. It's like, well, you don't have to wonder what's my frequency, what's my this. No, this is so simple. So there's stages of spiritual progress. There is the victim. We're not actually in charge. What does victim mean? Because we make it so bad and wrong, and I can't admit that I'm a victim because we're entrepreneurs. We're not a victim. We're not victims. We're so empowered. We do not give power away to anything, do we? Except we do. And we don't even know it. So there's the victim. Ask yourself, are you in charge of your money, of your manifestation, of your business? Are you waiting for some signs for something? Because there's a difference. It's like victim, and then the highest is surrender. And people think that they're in surrender, but they're actually in victim. The line is very thin between surrender and a victim. And we have to be constantly looking at all areas of our life. Am I in surrender or am I in manifestation? So the second one is manifestation. We actually have to master manifestation to go to the next one, which is channel, to go to the next one, which is being, pure surrender. And people read all these books and think like, oh, just surrender. Just do nothing, it will come to me. That's how they manifest. I'll just sit on a couch. It will happen. And they're actually not looking. I might not be empowered enough. Money might still be controlling my life. So we were forced to look at our consciousness with this teaching. Not the opinions of our consciousness, not what we think we are based on the spiritual books that we have read. How do you know that you're being a victim around money? How do you know that you're not in charge of money? When you say, I really want to do this, I wish I could do this, but it's not in the cards, it's not that, and I will join this later, I will do this later, And the truth is, I don't know why, but my heart is calling me. It makes no sense. And I hate it. I hate it. I hate it because I thought I wouldn't be here. I thought once I made it, I had been uncomfortable enough. I've done my lunches. I have been uncomfortable. I know how to be uncomfortable. I've done it. I didn't think I would be here. After building 2 7 and multi-7-figure businesses, I didn't think I would be here. I didn't think that I would have to step into courage over and over and over. I didn't think that I would have to be uncomfortable. I didn't know. That is actually my biggest superpower. And when we forget that superpower, when we forget this, we lose it. And I hate this so much. I hate this so much. I wish that once you make it through your first uncomfortable, you make that uncomfortable stuff and we made it. We made the first retreat, we made the first launch, it was successful, and then we change sleep. Because we got it, we know it now, we know the system, we know what to say, we have the right script, we have the perfect teaching, we're so good at this. But that is not how it works. We can never lose that edge. We cannot lose that edge. We just cannot lose that edge. There's a victim bypass when we get scared. There's so many things we will bypass. There's so many things that, because we just really do not want to walk ourselves through this, but there's no way around it. And that, when you can walk yourself through that edge, to the edge of your comfort zone over and over and over and over. There is a quote from Rachel Jane Groover that she said, 2018, and I made it my own and changed it and played with it. But she said, if you want to double your business, you have to double your courage. If you want to grow your business, you have to grow your courage. If you want to 10x your business, you have to 10x your courage. Any magic requires courage. Any magic and courage is to walk yourself out of the victim, out of disempowerment. The courage to see your inner victim. Yes, I know this word of triggering, and it was extremely triggering for me when I was channeling this. It's like, victim, what do you mean? Because victim has so much shame around it and we reject it altogether. But the deal is 80% of the world has not transcended their inner victim. You understand, 85% of the world is below 200 and victim is at 180. 180. Maybe they made it to savior, that's 190, but most people have not transcended this. Most people actually think they're in a surrender, they're even spiritual, but they haven't actually made it out of being at the effect of something. But they're still assigning the power to something else outside of themselves to decide their fate. And it's not from a healthy surrender, it is from a victim. It's not, magic manifestation is not that I put in command into a black box. It is like, diddly, 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 do, black box, and then client spits out. I manifest, I intend. And then I just look away, hope the magic black box does something. Here you go. You asked. Here you go. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything. It's here you go. It's actually the opposite of this. There's no magic black boxes. It's a frequency, and actually it's not a frequency of I am in charge of the black box either. It's the frequency of not I'm the one with the charge. It's the frequency of I am the charge. It's the frequency because I am in charge and I put this black box in and I do. That's all the masculine manifestation. We're good at this. We can do this all day long. We have been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we cannot keep doing it all the time. There is this other frequency of I am stepping into magic, not I'm in charge, I am the charge. I flow with the charge. Not I do magic, but I am surrounded in the middle of the magic. I am the magic. Not I create magic. That's still the masculine manifestation. It's like I am stepping into the dance of the magic, and it's so delicious. It's so delicious, and yes, there is a price to pay. Or is there? Or is there? Or is there? When you hear this thing, there's a price to pay. How does that make you feel? Does that feel good? Not to me. It's one of those diluted expressions that is actually not true. Because when we think about paying money, it just feels so, I don't like that expression. I don't like paying money. Because it feels like you are sacrificing something. But the paradox is that it doesn't have to work that way. But we have to train ourselves to hold it differently. If I pay this, I am actually saying yes. I'm giving my contribution towards my dream, and I'm making sure that I align with the energy of what I want this money to do for me. And in doing so, in stepping into the magic as I do it, I will be a frequential match for the type of clients that I want to receive. I have to match them in courage. It's just like that. I have to match them in courage. And the funny thing is that I used to match them in courage all the time. And when I was matching them in courage, the people were matching me in courage with their courage, and they would jump through whatever hoop to step into the bigger version of themselves when I was in courage. I was expanding, I was growing, and then something happened and I closed down my heart. Something happened in QLE and I closed down my heart. I just wasn't ready for what happened. I wasn't ready for the number of clients. I wasn't ready for the amount of doubting and questioning and criticism. I wasn't ready for that. My heart was so sensitive. I had no idea how sensitive my heart was. And then I shut myself down. I didn't have the support. I didn't have the people. I didn't have the community. I shut my heart down and I stopped being courageous. And if I ask people to follow their heart and I don't follow mine, if I hold myself for my biggest potential, how the heck do I coach them on that? So, I will say one thing that's going to be crazy, but I realize this. This is actually my superpower when it comes down to it. I've never actually attended a free thing without doing the thing after. And I'm serious. I'm so crazy. I literally buy everything like it's going out of style. But it's also, I don't watch a lot of stuff. I don't do free stuff, you know. If I do, it's like once a year. That's it. That's it. So I have another story to tell. Because I want to breathe some courage into you. So when I was 17 years old, I'd never been on an airplane. We were actually, my family was poor. There was a student day in Prague. They were doing the student day ticket sale in the fall. And the tickets to Egypt, to Cairo, were so cheap. It was like less than $100, and I've never been on a flight. At the time, I was, when I was 16 years old, I was starting high school. I was dating for 5 years, actually. I was dating somebody who was 24 years old, He was graduating from college, and it was like the best thing, And I was actually the more empowered one in a relationship, believe it or not. It was just, It was really, 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 really a great relationship. And there was this flight discount, right? So here we are. We're going to take this flight to Cairo, and we're going to stay in Egypt for 3 weeks. This is me starting high school, or second year high school, something like that. And then I dated this person because he was the only person that could match my courage. I couldn't date people my age because they couldn't just, I found the one person who could match the craziness that was in my heart. It's like, through all the trauma, I had one gift that came through, and it's like, I am willing to do the craziest things when my heart says yes. So, we buy this flight, and I literally, that's all the money I had. I had my dad would give me 800 coronas, which is, I don't know, I think it's like $30 or something for my boarding school in this town in Western, the Czech Republic, and I cancel all my lunches, and I get the money back, and I was like, this is how we're going to get the money to actually buy stuff in Egypt anyhow. So we buy Lonely Planet, which is you guys know what Lonely Planet is? It's like, show you what, there's I still have one for Costa Rica. There's these books they sold in the Wenceslas Square in Prague, and they have everything about the country you're visiting. And because it was not the times of the internet, We had one computer in my high school. It's go search if you want to find something. There was no oh, you will just book this on hotel.com, and you will go there and you will arrange something, you will book this. I have nothing. There's a book. We had a book. And the 17-year-old and her 25-year-old boyfriend, none of whom have any clue what they're doing. Yes. Lonely Planet is the best. I still use it, It's still so old school. I don't even know what people use for traveling. Ask me about apps. I don't know. Lonely Planet. So we get this Lonely Planet for $36. It's so expensive. We get this Lonely Planet book, and then we finally get on the flight, and it's a student flight. So beer and wine runs out 2 hours into the flight. It's full of students, Everybody's going to Egypt. Czech Republicans going to Egypt, It's this craziness. And then we meet these two other people on the plane, and they're like, you guys have a Lonely Planet. We don't have a Lonely Planet. You have a Lonely Planet. Can we join you? And I'm like, that's a freaking good idea, because we don't have any money for taxi, so we'll have to huddle up so that we divide and conquer, and we do this together. So here I'm in this H-17, I'm leading a crew of 4 of us through Egypt, which I know nothing about at all. So here we are. We land at 2 a.m. in Cairo. And we get out of the airplane, and it's this Egyptian mess, There's people selling you this and that, and they were we're hungry. And then you look at the stands, and I realized I was in trouble. I didn't study anything, and I didn't know that the numbers in Arabic don't look like our numbers. It's not 1, 2, 3. It's 0. It's 5 looks like a 0, and it's oh, I don't know what these prices are, and we have no money. We have so little money for these 3 weeks here. And I don't know what these prices are. 2 a.m. Okay, back in the airport, studying the numbers, memorize it. Okay, now we know what the prices are. Now we can buy stuff. Now what do? We don't have any hotel booked. There's nothing. It's 3 a.m. What do? We get a cab, because it's going to be morning before too long. Let's just take the cab to the pyramids. So we take the cab, and it's so pitch dark. It was so dark. The night, and there was no moon at all. It was so dark, and it was so scary, because you're in that Cairo, a city of 17 million people at the time. It is so crazy and so wild, and what are we doing here? Even the night was insane. That city, And so the cab driver drops us off. Here you go, pyramids. You don't see anything. It's like a desert, you know. So we're here, we're walking in the desert. I guess we're just going to sit here and wait here. So we all have our backpacks. We put them in the sand and we just sit and wait and we nap. And then it's 5 a.m. and then it's 5:30 a.m. and the sun starts coming out. And then I look to my right. I look to my right. And there's this enormous thing that as the sun starts coming out is the most incredible, beautiful, incredible, enormous thing that I've ever seen in my life that I could never even imagine as a 17-year-old I was ever going to see. And there's the pyramids, and they're so like that memory, that vision, that view, it changed my life. It changed my life. That frequency of the pyramids is so crazy, so high, so beautiful. It's like you cannot even believe what is possible. When you're in front of the pyramid, like you cannot believe what humans did. The magic of this, like you have to be in the presence of the pyramid to understand. Like it changed me, and it changed me in the ways that I cannot even, like, it was not just seeing the pyramids, but being the person who could get herself to the pyramids at age 17 with a 24-year-old boyfriend who didn't know what he was doing either. None of us knew any numbers. And then we took the train down, and then we took the bus to the oasis, and then we snorkeled in the Sinai, and then we went to the mountains where Moses got the 10 Commandments, Mount Sinai, and it's like all those things happened. The little money that I had, the little money, I think we spent like $150 or $200 there the entire 3 weeks. Us and our backpacks, you know, and it was just, people like, how could you travel so much? How is it that you visited 25 countries when by the time you were 22? I don't have the kind of money. I'm like, I didn't have the kind of money either. I was just crazy enough. I was just crazy enough to follow my heart. When I was 21, I moved down to Peru to work there for a year. I didn't know Spanish. I had to learn on the job. I was an assistant product manager for Samsung, the Korean corporation. I didn't know, you know. It's like, and it changed me in so many ways that I cannot even, like, I know Spanish now because of that time. Like, I'm fluent in Spanish now, and I can speak with my daughter. We can speak Spanish at home because the crazy risk that I took then. I'm trilingual because of that. And it wasn't, I didn't let things like that stop me, not then and not now. I hitchhiked through Europe when I was 16, even before then. No money, all right, this is what's happening because I really want to see Spain, I really want to see Portugal, and I want to work in Scotland. I was a grouse beater, which is, if you don't know what that is, you're basically waving the flag and you're making the bird swords so they can be shot. It's a crazy job, but it was so much fun. Walking in the mountains with a bunch of people every day, just hiking and being paid for that. So courage is the requirement. Courage is the requirement. The courage is what it took to sit with plant medicine so many times that I didn't know. So many people are so scared of ayahuasca and iboga. What if I go crazy? What if this happened? What if that happened? What if I go insane? What if I'm one of those people who are screaming and trying to climb the fence, you know? What if I'm one of those people that have to die down because I'm just being a hot mess and screaming and running around naked? Doesn't happen, by the way. Doesn't happen. I'll get that out of your mind. But people fear that, right? Courage is the requirement. It's the courage. When I go into a ceremony, I sit and I go, yeah, but I'm willing. I'm willing to surrender. I'm willing to experience what I need to experience and show me who I've become that I need to shed. And we have to face ourselves. And money and manifestation and business, it is all about courage. The difference, and this is where I bring this to full circle. This is so, so, so powerful. I have watched Clients after clients succeed and fail and succeed and fail and succeed and fail and succeed, succeed, fail, 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 succeed, fail, 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 succeed, fail, succeed, fail. I've watched myself succeed, fail, 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 succeed, and fail. And it's like, what? Why? How? How is it that people came into QLE and they would have the most magical first retreat and got clients, and then 3 after and they got nobody? Nobody wanted to work with them. What was the difference? And I couldn't figure it out. It made no sense at all. It made no sense at all. The numbers didn't make any sense at all. So was a person in my program, a French person. Her name is Natalie. And it just made no sense what happened with her. So Natalie, she does a retreat. She has 8 people sign up for her live free retreat. She's going to make an offer at the end, and she's going to launch her business coaching practice, but there's only 8 people signed up. There's only 8 people signed up for that thing, and so we're like, I just really don't want you to be disappointed. I just don't want you to be crushed, because I hate when people are crushed, because then they're disappointed and they carry the disappointment forever. I'm almost like wondering, should she reschedule this? Because I just hate see people disappointed, which is what I tell them, freaking get at least 300 people so that you're not disappointed. That was my limiting belief. She proved me so wrong. 8 people registered. 4 people show up on Zoom for her 6-day retreat every single day. The same 4 people are there sitting on Zoom watching this. She's teaching her heart out. She's like, I know nothing is going to happen most likely because I just don't have the numbers, but I'm going to go full out anyway. 4 people watching this. Who here remembers this story? She made her offer. It was a $5,000 offer. $5,000 offer. All 4 people that were watching pay in full. That's how she launched her business. $20,000 cash out of the first retreat with 8 people in it. And then we have a person come in who has 1,000 people registered. 1,000. And she knows everything. There's to know about everything. And she's taught this so many times. And she's so great and so vibrant and so magical as a speaker. And she knows. She's so good at her craft. And she just says the most amazing, wonderful things. And she's just a powerhouse in what she does. And nothing happens. And she's upset. And she wants out of the program. She wants out of the program. She's so upset, and I couldn't figure it out. Like the people who were supposed to have all this great success just didn't. And there were people who were not supposed to have this great success that just did. And then the people who had a great success first, like nothing happened. And then I saw it for what it was. Courage. 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 If you are stepping through, you are on the edge of your seat. If you're teaching the things that you have never taught before, if you're stepping through your own discomfort somewhere in your life, that frequency of courage, it's like this thing that snaps you out of your victimhood wherever it is hidden that you don't even know about. The frequency of courage. The frequency of courage. It doesn't matter how good you are or not. There's people who literally had never even been on camera, and it's like, it somehow works out. And you call it beginner's luck. It's not beginner's luck. It's courage. It's the frequency. And courage is at 200 as a stepping stone for any goodness. If you try to bypass it and just be loving, I'm just going to be loving, I'm just going to be willing. I'm like, Adam, I'm going to be in these higher frequencies and surrender. But then there's no courage. You cannot have a surrender without courage. You have to be willing to step through the things that just stepping through. Walking yourself through. There's no way around it. You cannot be in comfort zone and expect other people to step into their courage. It's just not possible. Like I impose wherever I go, you don't understand. I'm so terrified because I put myself in places that I have no business being. One more story. So, I pray. like I told you, December 31st, I'm sitting in Huachuma, San Pedro, and I'm praying for my multi-dimensional expansion. Because I'm tired of feeling my intuition is blocked. I'm tired of talking to God and God doesn't talk to me. I'm tired of like, what's the difference between my ego and my higher self? Like, I don't know. Like, what's my mind? What's the spirit? Like, it's a mess. I'm doubting this all the time. Is this really? Is it just my ego? I'm just like, So I'm praying for my multi-dimensional expansion. Let me know if you can relate to this, if you've been there. It is so frustrating to not have that connection. It is so frustrating. It's the hardest thing in life when we're not connected. And I lived my entire life like that. It is so hard. And I was so jealous of the people who are connected, who talk to the trees, who talk to God, I'm just so jealous, you know. So there comes an opportunity to join a 9D integration class at the Light Body Academy with Christina Schwind, who's also one of my clients. Have been kind of like helping her, and she works with my higher self and directly, and it's like, I'm like, why are you still in my program? You're so great. Well, it's like, I see past these things and I connect directly to what's good, and it works out perfectly, you know? So I'm like, okay. She's like, you should join this class. And I'm like, but I'm not qualified to do that. And I literally like told her I'm not qualified to do that. I'm so like, 9D, are you kidding me? Can't even connect in 3D. Okay. So 9D multi-dimensional integration, I have no business being in that class. No business. But I'm there. I'm sitting in these activations. We're connecting to 1D, which is the core of the earth, 2D, which is under the crust, Pachamama. You know, it's all earth. There's no like, oh, baba, boo, boo, bobo on the other side. There's no like, it's just so pure, you know, so beautiful. And then we go through the 4D field of, I think of it as the BS field, you know, the eggshell we have to crack into. And then there's the music that helps you clean the lenses and this and that. And we do these activations, and people are like, did you see the dragons? I'm like, nope. No dragons for me. No fairies for me. No crystal cities under the crust of the earth for me. Like, I just sit there. And I'm like, I'm here anyway. I'm not qualified to be here. Just don't ask me anything. I'm so afraid to even find out that I'm the only person here who just cannot connect. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to pretend that all is well. Just don't ask me any questions. Yeah, the dragons are great. I didn't say that, but I'm like, okay. And then after one of those classes, I have this enormous headache. And I'm like, Christina, can you help me clear this? Because I feel so much headache. And she's like, you know what? There's a vine going through your forehead into the jungle. Because I'm sitting in the back room. I'm sitting in the chairs, like where the space is behind me so people can see the jungle. And she's like, there's a vine going through your third eye. Did you ask for your third eye to be cleared? And I'm like, maybe. Because at the time, I didn't think I had a third eye. I had an egg instead of a third eye. There was no third eye. This is blocked. Too much fluoride toothpaste. I don't know what it did, but it's blocked. But I took the steps. I was in that class. And then there was a vine going out of my forehead into the jungle that was giving me a headache. And then the plant beings, they're like, we're actually working on you. Like, we're helping you break through this stuff and then break through this stuff and like chiseling all the rocks around your heart and like cleaning this up. And the plant beings, finally, I start breaking through. Finally, I start seeing things that I've never seen. Finally, I start connecting. Finally, I start connecting to Mother Mary, to Lakshmi, to other beings, to myself, to my higher self. No more fluoride toothpaste for anyone. Don't brush your teeth with that stuff. And I have such respect for people who are joining these things they're underqualified to do. I have so much respect because That is what it requires. Like, put yourself in a room you're not qualified to be in. It doesn't matter. You might be the most underqualified person in the room, but you know what that means? You're also going to be the fastest growing person in the room, because you're going to have to entrain. You're going to have to calibrate to the frequency that is there, because that room you want to be in, whether it's Visionary Circle or whether it's Miracles, whether it's something else, the room you think you're not qualified to be in, well, the room is going to need to help you break some things so that the room and the frequency is a match for all of us. We'll have to surrender. We'll have to heal. I create a room that I'm not even qualified to be in. I create that room so that I can train. I entrain. Of course, Kyra, go. I can entrain to this. So one more story I want to share with you. And this is the final topic of the UnGoals. I have yesterday was a really, really difficult day, because I realized my relationship with receiving has to change. And I asked, show me. Just show me. What is it about me and receiving? And I have a memory. I have so many memories. I'm standing on the doorstep with my jacket, age 13, but I'm cold. I'm always cold. I remember always being cold, because the only jacket that I had for winter actually wasn't a winter jacket. I didn't have appropriate clothing. So wherever I went that age, I was always cold. I was freezing in the Czech Republic because my jacket was so thin. No jacket would actually protect me. And yet, my mom had so many coats and so many jackets. So many beautiful clothes. She had like 8 or 9 different coats. I had one pair of pants. This is really heartbreaking for me still to share this, but I had one pair of pants that I wore over and over and over and over. Pants that were actually acceptable to show up in at school. And I hate it because I'm too young to legally get a job and take care of myself. You're not allowed to get a job legally. And I feel so helpless. I feel so confused. Why cannot I have clothes that I can wear? Why can I wear clothes that I'm not embarrassed to come to school with? I hate this so much. Why am I so trapped? Why am I so trapped? And those pants, I got them for Christmas. They were those jeans. All of a sudden, they're growing too small on me because my hips are growing. And then one day, I'm standing in front of the classroom. It's one of those horror days that is not even easy to remember. And I'm presenting something that I'm supposed to, or there's some exam or, verbal examination in front of a class. I can't remember, but it's quiet. And then there's a boy in the front seat who just says, "Oh, look, her pants are going to burst." And then everybody laughed. And I'm standing there. And I wish I could tell you I was angry, I was upset, or I said something back, but I was so headed. I couldn't even feel anything. I didn't even feel that much. I knew this life sucks and there's nothing I can do about it until I grow up and until I can get a job, until I make money, until I'm in charge of the life that I will build. You feel me? We're in those shoes where we just aren't in charge. We're trapped. We're trapped. We have no money. We have no control because we have crazy parents who will do what they will do. Our needs are not being met. There's no even following your dreams, doing the things that you do. You crazy? The only thing I heard is no. There was a belief that shaped my life so perfectly and so profoundly, in the best and the worst possible ways. And the belief was, nothing good comes to me unless I'm in charge and unless I'm the one with the money. Nothing good comes to me unless I'm the one and I'm in charge with the money. And I figured out a very me way to manifest. Obsession plus hard work equals in control and safe. Because safe is such a must for me. Like, I have to feel safe. I never want to feel so helpless where I just have to wait out until I can go to the boarding school, and at 15 I can go far away and then I can get a job. The first thing, when age 15, I got a job. The first thing, age 15, I tried to get one age 14, sneak in illegally. 25 coronas to iron clothes in a store, and I didn't get the job. It was less than $1. It was $1. Actually $1.20 or something like that. Then I got a job at McDonald's. 12 to 16 hour shifts. Horrible job. 32 an hour, which is $1.50-ish. But I was willing to do anything. I was willing to do any kind of hard work, anything to feel like I'm in control and to feel like I'm in charge of my life. Because the opposite was just unbearable. When you are bullied every day and you cannot have a pair of pants that you actually feel comfortable in, and you cannot have a jacket that you don't freeze in, and you have parents that are constantly hating on each other, and if you want this, go to your dad, he can give you money, you know, and vice versa, and back and forth. And I was just like, I've just given up on this. I'm just going to survive this. I cannot. This is just not a life, and I will just wait it out. I'm so trapped. I leave my body. I'm not there. I'm just a hollow being that is not present in her life at all. So I know what hell on earth is. I know some of you guys had it worse, with so much more sexual and physical abuse. But I'm telling you, like, I know what hell on earth is when we are so not there. This is one of the things that holds your business back. It's the prisoner trauma. When we are born into captivity as children and we're being raised by parents that are crazy and they're unpredictable, and you're just at home waiting what kind of mood they will come in, it has these beautiful gifts. It turns you into an empath because you have to learn how to detect other people's emotions. You have to learn how to feel what your dad felt in the driveway, the steps. What does it mean? What's the mood? Should I hide or can I be there? And it's this biggest gift to you. Like, it gives you abilities that you don't know you have, except you don't trust it, but you kind of know how other people feel. And it's also one of your biggest curses, an Achilles heel, if you don't know how to use it and what to do with it. But this prisoner trauma, when we're born into captivity, and then finally make it out, you have your job, you have your partner, you have your husband, somebody is making money. If they're not, you can still go to McDonald's. But there is a fear. There is a fear that keeps you stuck in business that is not real. You're afraid. Then when you make the next step or the next investment or the next bold move or whatever it is, you're going to go back and you're going to be stuck and you're going to be trapped and you're going to be a prisoner again. And that is not real. That is not real. As children, simply, sometimes it sucks. But during our childhood, there were no lines that we could call. Sometimes we had no relatives to turn to. Sometimes we had no teachers to turn to. Sometimes there was just no way out. We just had to wait it out and we just had to be prisoner. And it sucked. And can you go back? Well, maybe I should have empowered myself more and, fight off my beliefs until, move to live with my aunt or whatever it is. But you couldn't. We couldn't. We really couldn't. We were really prisoners, but we're not prisoners now. But whenever it comes to tough choices in our business and moving forward, we will do anything to not go there. So we live a life that is right next to the prison. We live a life in a prison village. Huntsville, Texas is a prison town. It's very close to Austin. It's a Huntsville, Texas. There's a Huntsville prison. There's many prisoners on a death row. Don't ask me how I know this, how I remember this. It's like, but we live a life in Huntsville, Texas. And you're right outside of your prison, but you're in your village. You're kind of free. You're not in a prison, but you're in Huntsville. Are you meant to be in Huntsville? Are you meant to be in Tokyo? Your Huntsville trauma, your prisoner trauma, keeps you from taking the steps that are in alignment with your soul so that you can actually be in Tokyo because you're meant to be in Tokyo. And there's just no way to live this life and fulfill on your greatest potential that you came here to do without stepping out of Huntsville. Because by fearing that you will end up in the prison in Huntsville, you're still in Huntsville. You're just in the town of Huntsville. I've never been there, but I cannot imagine it's all that glorious, you know? Maybe it is. You could be happy. Small town Huntsville. You know what? I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm content. Huntsville is just fine. We have a gas station. It's so great. And we have Cheetos in the gas station. And we have hot dog and chicken wings in those gas stations. And they're really delicious. And those chicken wings, it's really awesome. We can make a good life here, you know, with other people of Huntsville. Is that really? Is that really? Are you really content in Huntsville? Are you really, really, truly content in Huntsville? Not talking about location. Or do you know that you have people to liberate, yourself to liberate? You can step into something, but there's no stepping through it until we step out of a Huntsville. We have to move. Move. We cannot expect other people to be encouraged when we're not willing to say, this is not childhood. I know now I'm not going to end up in prison. I'm not going to be the bag lady on the street and stuck without options, without resources, without people. Hungry. And my children hungry. Yes, it is irresponsible to other people. It's always going to look at to the people in Huntsville. I feel very irresponsible. For the longest time to Barry, to my best friend, I looked very irresponsible. Until we had $1 million quarter, then all of a sudden, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen things work out, but you know what? They always did. As long as I was encouraged and following my heart, they always worked out. But to you, it's irresponsible. One time I broke down my car on I-25 driving to Pueblo to see him. Lexi was taking Lexi to see him, you know, and Lexi was tiny and the Jeep broke down on the side of a road and the transmission failed and... Okay, we're going to Pueblo and we're buying a new car today. And so I did. Bought a new car the same day. He's like, you're crazy. You're supposed to pull out a spreadsheet. You know, why don't you just rent a car for 2 weeks so you can explore what car you like? Let's talk about it. Like, don't buy a car today. Like, let's think about it. Like, no. I'm not going to waste 2 weeks of my life wondering. When I know I need a car and there's this great car, it's $250 a payment a month. It's a great car. It's a wonderful car. I love it. It's like the best sound system. And it's going to be so wonderful taking Lexi on these drives because when she was a baby, I really loved taking her on the drives. Well, you know, we love it. They sleep and we can think with our clear head. We can listen. We can get on a call with our friends. Hands free. And I was like, I just want a car that I can enjoy these drives around Pueblo in. I can drive into the mountains, and she sleeps as a baby. It's going to be so wonderful. And I got that car, and I was so happy with that car. It was one of the good decisions, you know. When I moved to Costa Rica, I was like, okay, can you sell it for me? It sold for $3,000 more than I actually bought it for. I actually made money on that car. You know what happened with the car market. It was the best thing, and I just trusted. I had no idea, zero clue that I would actually be able to sell it for more than I bought it for. It was so magical. But people don't understand it. If you ask people for opinions, for the crazy things you want to do, you think people agreed with me when age 15 I was like, I'm doing this. You think people agree with me to go to Egypt with no plan? Do you think that people agreed with me that it's a good idea to take a year off and work in Peru? Do you think people thought that it was a good idea? Do you think people thought that opening a restaurant was a good idea? Age 30, no restaurant experience, not knowing how to cook anything, how to do anything. You think that people will think that it's a good idea? Thing is, majority, you got to remember 80% of the population just cannot even comprehend what it means to follow our heart. They literally have no comprehension of that. Like, they're so, cannot move themselves through it. But the leaps, the breakthroughs, is like when you have an egg instead of a third eye, and you want to have an actual third eye, you actually have to say, well, I guess I'm going to put myself in a class that is going to replace my egg with a third eye. And we're going to see. You know? It's like that. Like, we cannot just hope that it's going to happen. You set your intention. You pray. You see the vision, not the goals. Not the goals. Like, if I don't make taken 10K by next month, then all hell is going to break loose and I will fail and I will never do it again. No timelines, no craziness. I had no timeline for this. I just prayed. I just said, I want my third eye to open because I actually want to see what people see. And you set that intention, but you also have to be willing. There's a thing in front of you that is asking you to take the step, whether it's miracles, whether it's visionary circle, whether it's something else, whether it's the invitation to go to India tomorrow, whether it's something, I don't know what it is. But when you ask for something, you will receive, but it's going to be like, what you have to ask yourself, like, why did you even end up in this class? What was your intention? What was your intention? What brought you here? What have you been praying for? What have you been manifesting to be here? Because it's being answered. It's always being answered. Whatever you're pulled, it's like the prayers are being answered. But you're like, oh, but not now. I can't do it right now. It's like, no, I need to wait. I want to go to India, but not this year because it's just not the time. And Lexi doesn't know how to be on a plane yet. And I need to train her. And I need to this. And it's not the time. It's not the time. It's not the time. We have to wait. We have to wait. We have to wait. So when you said a prayer, I want to be liberated, I want to be expanded multidimensionally, I want to talk to my higher self like all the time until I become my higher self, until I become one with my higher self. That's 7D for me. You don't know what the dimensions are. It's not some black magic. It's my higher self is 7D. 8D is all that is isness. And I never had the experience of connecting with all that is isness and feeling all that is until I actually put myself into the trainings and the situation, the ceremonies to break through some things and actually experience that. So you have your vision. You have the vision that you manifested here in UnGoals. You have your clarity. You have your I want. You may not necessarily know what it looks like in your business, and that's okay. That's good. Keep it open. You don't have to know what your program is. You don't have to know what your marketing is going to look like. You don't even have to know what your offering is. You just have a frequency that you hold in mind. That's where you start. A frequency, an energetic frequency, an energetic blueprint. That is the map. That is the plan from the soul. It's like, I know that this is how it feels. This is so magical. The most incredible clients, the most incredible students, the most incredible teachers. Open source. We're trickling liberation. And then I liberate my relationships. My relationship with my mom, relationship with my dad, whether they're living or not. My relationship with my kids, whether I have them, or my pets. I guess that's an easy one. The best friendships I've ever had. I feel the most incredible when I'm on camera. I have so much fun. I can be myself. And I put myself in rooms with people that I'm really, really, really inspired by. I'm in the energy of it, With Christina, I have Melanie and my Christina as mentors. With Christina, I have to be in that class with Melanie. I show up for 3 minutes and I'm in that energy and I go channel. I just need that energy sometimes. It's like, I'm inspired. I know exactly where this is going. Okay. Right. Ooh, breakthrough. So when you have that vision, you do not have to have all the things figured out. What happens, how this works, is that you have the vision and then you are given the next thing that is in front of you. That is how feminine manifestation works. But you have to recognize it and you have to say yes to it. The thing that is coming to you, whatever the vision, whatever it comes today, whatever it already came, or you already know what it is, you have to actually be willing to open the door and say, I will walk through that, I will take that. And then I will see what's next. And then I will open the door again and I will see what's next. And I will keep opening the door and I will keep walking through it because I know. I might not exactly know how it's going to work out. I might not exactly understand because you will never understand if you're like, oh, I must get a return on this. But you will, but you don't know what that return is. You have no idea. Maybe you joined QLE 2 years ago and you didn't get anything in it, but maybe you did all that so that you could be here. Maybe you were failing with me and we were failing together and here we are. Well, you just don't know. You just don't know. But in hindsight, I promise you, I can promise you this. I can promise you, I don't make promises on like, you will make X in my business by tomorrow because that would be limiting you. But I can promise you one day, if you keep opening the door and keep healing, you will look in the hindsight and you will understand how everything that you have done until now, all the investments that you have made, all the crazy decisions that make no sense, like everything will make sense in a hindsight. It's just how far do you have to walk? Because you have to keep walking. You have to keep moving. If you like make a step and they're like, okay, I'm just going to see the hindsight. And I need to see the hindsight before I make the next step. But sometimes you have to actually walk the stairs and you have to make it to the landing to see, okay, that is why I took the first step and then that's why I took the second step and then that's why I took the third step. It didn't make any sense and I work with this person, I work with that person, and I read this book and then I took this course and then I invested and I did some one-on-one and nothing was amounting until I came to the next step. Oh my God, it's coming together. This 9D integration class, I made it to the end. And except this, nothing happened. It was a month after this class ended that things started opening. And then I started having these experiences that the things that were sad, like I will meet with Christina once a month, once every 2 months, and if she will say something, and I was like, hey, this is how I work with you, you know? You tell me things, they make no sense. And you clearly make no sense. And then a month later, I'm like, oh, this is it. This is what she was talking about. Finally walked the steps that I needed to walk, and I dissolved some things that I needed to dissolve to actually land at the landing and I say, oh, this is what the Hawthorns, whatever, were saying. I don't even know what that means, but this is the Egyptians. Who knows? You guys know. You guys know better than me. This is, you know, she's like, oh, one day she tells me, you know, like there's a couple angels, like not like in a religious sense, but they're asking like, why do you work so hard? Like, why don't you just focus on liberating people and let the divinity do the rest? And I'm like, oh, it's easy for you to say because the angels don't talk to me. They're talking to you, but they're not talking to me. And it started making sense more and more and more and more. I don't have to overdo anything. I just have to do my part. I just have to show up. When I'm asked to show up, when I have a download like this, like I cannot, like I need to follow this. I need to show up, right? So this is it. It's 10 o'clock. I declare the UnGoals complete. I am so excited what's forward for all of us. Stepping into the magic of what we were meant to do while doing our healing. It's not either or. We can hold it all, embracing money magic, embracing feminine manifestation, embracing clearing up all the sales stuff that held us back, one miracle at a time, one step at a time, at a time, at a time. Until we come a landing and there's like, oh, look at how far I've come. Look at how far I've come. And you should be standing on your landing right now. Look at how far you've come. Look at how far you've come. Even during UnGoals, how much has opened up for you even during UnGoals? How much has opened up for you in the past months? How much has opened up for you in the past year? Can't you see you're already on the landing? And then there's the next stairway to climb. Unfortunately, because life is exciting that way, because we are on the staircase, and we come to landings and we look down. This is really, really awesome. And I'm really grateful. And I love this. And I'm so incredibly grateful to be standing on this landing. And it's so powerful and it's so beautiful. And I am going to take every advantage in this lifetime to climb the next staircase, while also being happy and being so grateful for all the, and I'll be telling stories. You know, I couldn't have told you all these stories 2 months ago. 2 months ago, I was in a silent retreat. This is one more minute. One more thing I will say. I was in a silent retreat. And we were not allowed to talk, but we were allowed to write letters, and then they would be read and answered by the person who was running these retreats. And there was these letters, and I was putting mine down, and I saw somebody wrote these words. I used to judge myself so much, and I don't do that anymore. And I looked at that, I'm like, I wish I was the one writing those words. That was 2 months ago, when I was still judging myself so much. I couldn't have told you any of these stories because I wasn't proud of them. I wasn't proud of the version of me 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 years ago. I was constantly, berating myself, constantly criticizing myself. And it was just one part that needed to heal. That was it. That was it. It's like that. It's like that. One step at a time, one little hint at a time, then little letter. I just saw the words on a paper, the first sentence, I'm like, I'm not supposed to look. But this other person said, but I'm glad I did, because it was such an inspiration to me when this person was where I wasn't. This one letter, this person who was ahead of me, she had healed something. And it's like, I want to heal this. I want to not be hard on myself. I want to be so proud of who I am and how far I've come, even though it's really, really messed up sometimes, the things that I've done and the people I've hurt and the abusive ways that I've showed up in the past relationships and with my loved ones, and that is okay. I still know that I did my best, and I don't judge myself for that anymore. And that is the reason I can share these stories without being self-critical, without, and that's like such a huge, huge, huge shift. So I love you. I am so grateful for this time together. Don't miss miracles. And if you feel called, don't miss Visionary Circle. Stretch yourself. If you want to be in a big room, be in a big room. And be the smallest and the biggest person there. Be the one with the most courage who shows up. Do the thing that stretches you. If you're like, no-brainer for me, I've invested so much, like this is a no-brainer, because it is. To those of you who have invested before, this is a no-brainer. It is. It really is. It just depends where you are. If you're not used to investing, it's a big deal. If you're used to investing, it's nothing. So do the thing that stretches you. Do the thing that stretches you. If it's one-on-one, step into one-on-one. If it's visionary circle, step into visionary circle. But you have to do the thing that is calling you, not the thing that is comfortable. If miracles is comfortable for you, do the visionary circle. If visionary circle is comfortable for you, work with me one-on-one. If that is comfortable for you, work with somebody else who challenges you more than I do. If you're here, you're like, this is fine. This is fine. I'm not even, I'm washing the dishes. This isn't doing it for me. I know all this. And it's not a spiritual bypass and it's real, Like, do things that will stretch you. Do the thing that will stretch you. I don't care what it is. Just do the thing that will stretch you. That is just at least a little bit scary because it's the frequency of courage that you will be bringing into your business that will actually be like, yes, I'm doing this. I'm stepping into my magic. I'm stepping into my power. I'm not ready. It makes no sense, but I'm still doing it. And I'm not going to freak out, be stressed out about it. I'm going to invite the magic to come in and I'm going to be magic. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful. Thank you so, so, so much for staying till the very end. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will see you soon. I'm going to be closing the container soon. When I feel it's time, I will probably close the group because the energy needs to close and we need to move on. I will see you in the first miracle in about 3 weeks. And once we open the miracles, then we will start getting ready. We will start getting ready for that. And if you're in a visionary circle, you're already automatically in miracles. You don't have to do anything. It's all included. It's all included. Just get mentally ready for the goodness and start manifesting with me that we're going to break everything that we need to break open for us to live in abundance and create sales in our business. All right. Bye, everybody.